it's my last day of reading you this story. Kate's going to read you the conclusion tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. It's been lovely, hasn't it? A lovely thing to do at Christmas. I tried shouting confectioner, confectioner, confectioner to my family yesterday. More noise when they were all making a noise, and they just looked at me in the way that they usually look at me, which is dumbfounded. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with the second half of the chapter about Toyland. Do you remember? There was lots of din. Somebody, the burgomaster, shouted confectioner, confectioner, confectioner. Hence me trying to do the same thing. Anyway, I digress. On we go. Okay, yes, and it left them thinking, what is man and what is his destiny? Mary could not restrain a large cry of wonder, nay, of the highest amazement, when she saw all at once, standing before her, bathed in rosy light, a brightly lighted castle with 100 magnificent towers. Here and there the walls were decorated with rich bouquets of violets, lilies, tulips, stocks and the like, and the duller tints of which would set off the dazzling white of the groundwork shimmering in rosy light. The great dome of the central building, as well as the pyramid-formed caps of the tower, were dotted with thousands of sparkling gold and silver stars. Now we are before Rock Castle, said Nutcracker. I think that the rock is not rock like rock. I think it's like rock that you get at the seaside. I think, because everything seems to be made of confectionery, doesn't it, in this little land? Mary was quite overwhelmed by the view of this enchanted palace, yet she did not fail to notice that the summit of one great tower was wholly missing, which a gang of small mannequins standing on scaffold of cinnamon sticks seemed engaged in restoring. Even before she could ask Nutcracker the meaning of this, he went on. A short time ago, this fine castle was exposed to serious danger, if not utter destruction. The giant Guzzle, happening to pass by, hit one tower right off, and was already gnawing at the great dome when the confectioner-bee people brought him a whole quarter of their city as a tribute, and a good slice of Jamshire as well, with which he consented to be fed off and went on his way. So yes, I think I'm right. I think Rock Castle is made of the kind of rock you get at the seaside. At this moment, a soft, pleasing strain of music was heard. The gate of the castle opened, and out stepped 12 small pages bearing lighted cloves in their hands by way of torches. Their heads consisted of a single pearl, and their bodies of rubies and emeralds, and so they walked along very fine upon little feet of pure gold. They were followed by 4 ladies, almost as large as Mary's doll Clara, but so extraordinarily majestic and gorgeously arrayed that not for a single moment could Mary mistake them for anything but born princesses. "Oh, my prince, my dear prince, oh, my brother!" they exclaimed, embracing Nutcracker in the tenderest manner, and one could not be sure whether they were about to laugh or cry with joy. Nutcracker seemed to be much moved. He wiped away a crowd of tears from his eyes, took Mary by the hand and spoke movingly. "This is Miss Mary Starbum, the daughter of a most respectable physician and the preserver of my life. Had she not thrown her slipper at the right time, had she not furnished me with the sword of the pensioned colonel, I should now be lying in my grave, bitten to pieces by the accursed Mouse King. Oh, this, Miss Starbum, tell me, is Pirlipat, even though a princess by birth, her equal in beauty and heart and virtue. No, I say no." "No!" cried all the ladies, and fell upon Mary's neck, sobbing. "Oh, you noble preserver of our dear princely brother, excellent Miss Starbum!" Now the ladies led Mary and Nutcracker within the castle and into a hall, the walls of which were of clear, sparkling and glowing crystal. But what pleased Mary above all the rest was the dearest little chairs, tables, sofa and so forth standing about, which were made of cedar or mahogany wood, which is posh, inlaid with gold flowers. The princess requested Mary and Nutcracker to sit down, and said that they themselves would at once get a meal ready. Then they brought out a number of little pots and dishes made of the finest Japan porcelain, also spoons, knives and forks, graters, stew pans and other kitchen utensils of gold and silver. Next they brought the most beautiful fruits and sugar stuff such as Mary had never seen, and in the most elegant manner with their small snow-white hands began to peel the fruit, to pound the spice, to rub down the sugar sticks, in short, so to play the housewife, that Mary could see how these princesses were at home in the kitchen and what a rich meal was to be set before her. Expect so, don't you? It sounds like it's all going to be made of sweeties. I like the sound of that, you know. Feeling conscious that she could show herself mistress of such matters, she secretly wished that the princesses would let her assist with their work. As if she had guessed Mary's wish, the most beautiful of Nutcracker's sisters reached over to her a small gold mortar with the words, "Oh, sweet friend, dear preserver of my brother, please break off a little bit of this sugar stick." While Mary now pounded away at the mortar so heartily that it sounded quite pleasant, as if a pleasant tune were being chimed forth, the Nutcracker began to relate in full how the grim battle between his army and the Mouse King's had gone, and how he had been beaten through the cowardice of his troops, and how the hateful Mouse King would have bitten him all to pieces, and how therefore Mary had been obliged to sacrifice many of his subjects, persons at her service, etc., etc. And during this narrative it seemed to Mary as if his words, even her own strokes in the mortar, grew fainter and stranger. Soon she saw the silver floor rising up like thin clouds of mist, which floated the princesses, the page, the Nutcracker, her own self, and her ears were filled with a queer singing and ringing and burning that died away in the distance. Now she rose upon swelling waves, and higher and higher and higher and higher. And that's the end of the chapter, and nearly the end of the book. I wonder what's... I think I can guess what's happened, but I'm not going to say. Nothing more annoying, is there, when somebody tells you what they think and then it's right and then they've ruined it for you. So I really, really hope you enjoy the next episode, and thank you so much for listening to me and Kate telling the story of the Nutcracker, which I've really enjoyed because I've gone to see it in the ballet before, and I've got to be honest, I haven't quite understood what it's all about. So now I do, and it'll mean so much more to me. And I think you can watch the Nutcracker ballet on BBC iPlayer, I think. I should find out and let Kate know, and then she can tell you tomorrow. Okay then, take care, Happy New Year.